Okay, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about lead capture. This is a really important part of your strategy. Ultimately, if you're not capturing leads, you might be building a great asset for the future, but you're not getting anything today that'll help you pay for your effort and justify the costs. So there are free ways to do some of this stuff, and I'm going to show you a few of the free options. However, this is definitely an area that if you buy quality tools, you're going to get better results. And this is by no means all the options that are out there. These are just some of the tools that I currently use or have used in the past, and I'm happy with the performance of all of these tools. So basically, to begin with, when you're doing this sort of lead generation, you have a couple of different options you're shooting for. One would be to build your email list, and then what you're going to have there is an opt-in form, get people to join your list, and in exchange usually for something like a free white paper or an electronic course of some sort, something that is valuable and makes people want to give you their email. Never put something up there and just say join my email newsletter. I have used all of these systems. I've used Aweber for a long time. Their support is fantastic. The tool's fantastic. It's probably one of the things that's made me the most money. Not because of the tool itself, although it helps, it's great, but also just the whole strategy of building a list is very important. So I strongly encourage you to check those out. The good thing about like MailChimp, and I believe Constant Contact as well, is that you can get a small number of people on your list for free. So somebody on a very limited budget can start their list in those places, although as it grows, you're going to have to pay at some point. With Aweber, you see that as more a lot of times the industry standard with the serious internet marketers and things that are trying to develop big lists. So I strongly encourage one of those tools. Now, if you want to capture leads in a database, but you don't necessarily want to send them emails after the fact, if you're just generating leads in a form, you can use a couple different free options. One is Google Docs. If you go out and play around, what you can do is actually build a Google spreadsheet. And this is free in Google Docs. You build a Google spreadsheet. The top of each column is the question in the form you want to build. So it might be name, phone number, email, that kind of thing. Then there's an option to build a form for that spreadsheet. And then it gives you scripts that you can just take that, copy and paste that script into your site, and it'll render that form for capturing that information. Now there are a few things I don't like about it. One is that the thank you page you don't have a lot of control over, so it's not very nice. It's definitely a free tool. It says powered by Google Docs under it, which is fine. But it's not necessarily the most professional thing. But it can, if you don't care too much about those issues, it can be very powerful and completely free. Infodome, on the other hand, lets you build a fully relational database and do the same kind of stuff. So it will actually let you build a database of relational database tables and capture information, and then, like, for example, you could build a second table that links to it that tracks your follow-up. It's a little bit more technical. I mean, the people that use this want to build their own online system, and but it's free up to 1,000 records, and it's just a fantastic tool and very easy to use as long as you have some basic fundamental understanding of how data is stored. So those are just two examples of good ways to collect online information. The third column is CRM, which is Customer Relationship Management. These are just three of many options that are out there. Zoho is free. There's a paid version where you have more features, but they will let you capture leads in forms on the website. The only thing I don't like about the CRM systems is they're very powerful, but they're also a lot more complex. So when you first log into these things, a lot of times you really have to be committed to spending a lot of time developing your system. Fusionsoft, I recently had a chance to use. Fantastic. It does the email portion of it, but it also does tracking of customers, and it can even do the direct sales and shopping cart if you choose to upgrade to that piece of it. So it's a very powerful system. But again, it's going to take you a little while to get that fully set up and executed. One thing about Infusionsoft when you join, it's a little bit more costly, but they have somebody working with you to help you do it. And Salesforce, I haven't used for a few years. It's definitely the standard in the industry for larger companies. Fantastic product, very powerful, but another situation where it's also fairly complex. So be prepared to work seriously on building your lead capture and follow-up strategy if you're going to invest in those kinds of tools. So if you just want something free to play around with, though, Zoho CRM is good, and it's no cost. There are also open source systems, and the only reason they're not on this list is you have to set them up. For example, I've used Sugar CRM, and it was really good, very complex as well, but it's free. If you have somebody technical that likes playing around with that stuff, that's a good option for you. And lastly, you might not really want to do lead generation in the hopes of eventually selling them. You might want to actually start out with a sale. One of the strategies here is to sell a low ticket item and then start doing upsells and things. So you know the people are willing to buy, and with a low ticket item, and then you increase it over time. So I've used One Shopping Cart for years and had very good luck with that. The nice thing about One Shopping Cart that's different from a lot of other shopping cart services is you're not building a storefront. You can actually produce buttons that go on lots of different websites all over the place, and then go to a centralized shopping cart where people can actually check out. And you can brand each different product a little bit differently. If you upgrade to the $99 a month one, it's got an upsell and downsell feature, which is really important. It's got affiliate management, which if you can grow into that, it's a great opportunity. There's just a lot of power there for starting at very low cost up to the $99 a month option. So these are just some of the tools you need to think about. But before you start playing around deciding which tool is right for you, you really have to stop and say, well, what do I want my prospects to do when they come to the website? Do I simply want to get them on an email list, which is going to follow up with multiple emails and build a relationship automatically? If so, then you want something like Aweber. Do I want to just capture information and call them back? Then Google Docs or Infodome will work really well. Do I want to put them in a situation where I've got lots of different salespeople following up after the lead comes in? Then you need a full CRM. Or do I want to actually process a transaction? Then you need some sort of shopping cart software. Now at the bottom there you see beware of WordPress plugins and test frequently. The reason for this is it's so easy to get it set up, see that it's working, and forget about it. And then 6 months might go by and you're wondering why you haven't gotten any leads. Sometimes it's because your site's not getting any traffic or your call to action isn't very good. But sometimes it's also, unfortunately, that whatever tool you're using has failed. Maybe you changed a password someplace. Maybe it's getting forwarded to an email that no one's checking anymore. I had a client for almost a year lost hundreds of leads because the email that was getting all the leads, nobody monitored it anymore. And it was just incredible that they let it go that long before realizing it. It was a simple thing when they found out about it. The reason I say beware of WordPress plugins is, yes, they're free and they integrate right with your WordPress site, but a lot of the plugins are they're free. Somebody built them, but do they really work? You have to test them carefully. And you don't want it to just generate an email to you and not actually save it in a database as well, because what can happen there is if the emails start going to your spam folder or don't get delivered for some reason, there's no database to go back and look up what transactions happened to really be able to audit what's going on. So, there's some great WordPress plugins out there. I'm just very leery of using them to actually capture my leads because I place a really high value on lead capture. And, for the small cost of something like Aweber or even the free stuff like Google Docs and stuff, it just seems like it's a better solution. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. Go out, figure out what you need, then find the column and go out and explore these different tools and see which one works best for you. I'll see you in the next video.